Madison Square Garden Network presents New York Knicks basketball. Brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all that you do, this Bud's for you. By The Wiz, for everything in home entertainment, nobody beats The Wiz. And by New York Lotto. All you need is $1 and a dream.
Welcome to the Spectrum in Philadelphia for the Knicks and the 76ers meeting for the second time this season. Last night at Madison Square Garden, in a furious finish, the Knicks beat the Bullets in overtime, 131-127. The Knicks coming up with their second straight overtime victory despite 42 points by Bernard King. The Knicks have now won 12 of the last 14. And on the season, the Knicks are now 23-9. They are 4 games in front of Boston, 6 over Philadelphia. The Sixers with a record of 17-15, and that is the setting for tonight. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with John Andres. And once again, Knicks coach Stu Jackson is not with the club. This time, though, for more pleasant reasons. Last night, Stu was ejected on 2 technical fouls. But he did make the trip to Philadelphia today and then was summoned home, and he's back home after hearing the news that his wife Janet had given birth to twin daughters. And John, the scorecard reads 4 pounds, 8 ounces, 6 pounds, and 10 ounces. But with Stu back home, it means that once again Paul Silas will run the club with help from fellow assistant coaches Ernie Grunfeld and Jeff Van Gundy. So Stu Jackson will be taking it in on television again, as he did in the fourth quarter last night. And you can be certain that Stu is hoping that the Knicks get the same type of effort as they did in New York in that earlier meeting against the 76ers from Patrick Ewing, who had a very strong game.
Yes, Patrick has really shaken that mini shooting slump he's had lately. The last 2 games for the Knicks have been overtime wins, and Patrick has saved his best for last, as he did last night against the Bullets. In the fourth quarter and in overtime, Patrick accumulated 18 of his team leading 35 points. And as usual, he was invincible underneath the basket. I think more importantly, too, Marv, his foul shooting was tremendous. In that game, he had 6 straight fouls in overtime, didn't miss, and it really helped. And he had a tremendous game from the field with 12 out of 23 and 11 out of 14 from the line. And it really inspired the Knicks once again.
And as always, when the Knicks face the Philadelphia 76ers, their major concern is Charles Barkley, who just excels against the Knicks. Although he was sidelined, missed that first meeting in New York because of the flu, but he is on hand tonight.
Yes, and the last time they met was in Game 3 of the playoffs here in Philadelphia last year. And Charles was invincible as usual, got his 27, hurt the Knicks from the field, had all kinds of moves, tied the game at this point at 100, then had another key shot down the stretch. But in the final seconds of the game, Marv, Charles found himself out high and took the long bomb, hoping to make it, of course. The shot fell short. Charles fell to the ground and had all summer to think about the result of that game. Nevertheless, he hurt the Knicks with big numbers from the field, 60% always or better. In fact, right now he's at 60%, number 2 in the league, and his numbers are just where they were last year. He will be tough.
So it is Charles Barkley and the 76ers going up against the Knicks. We'll be back with the lineups right after these messages. Back at the Spectrum, we are set for the introduction of the players, so let us pick it up with the public address.
At one guard, his 3rd season from St. John's at 6'3", number 13, Mark Jackson. Also in the backcourt, his 5th season from Tennessee, Chattanooga at 6'6", number 21, Gerald Wilkins. The center in his 5th season from Georgetown at 7 feet, number 33, Patrick Ewing. At one forward, his 4th season from Richmond at 6'7", number 4, Johnny Newman. And at the other forward, in his 5th season from Virginia Union at 6'9", number 34, Charles Oakley. The New York Knicks assistant coaches, Paul Silas, Ernie Grunfeld, and Jeff Van Gundy. Assistant trainer is Tim Walsh. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your Philadelphia 76ers. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we always introduce when the 76ers have a new member to their team. We introduce the newest Sixer tonight. He could not be with us, though. The newest 76er, born January 4th, 1990, to Hersey and Jennifer Hawkins. Let's welcome Brandon Dante Hawkins. Sixers starting lineup tonight at one guard. In his 4th season from Duke at 6'2", number 12, Johnny Dawkins. Also in the backcourt, his 2nd season from Bradley at 6'3", number 33, the Hawk, Percy Hawkins. The center in his 10th season from Duke University, 6'11", number 42, Mike Juminski. Add one forward in his 10th season from Hampton Institute at 6'10", number 44, Rick Mahorn. And at the other forward, in his 6th season of Auburn at 6'6", the captain, number 34, Charles Barkley. The 76ers are coached by Jim Lynham. His assistant is Fred Carter. Player personnel director is Bob Weinauer. Buzz Brayman, the shooting coach. The team trainer is Tony Harris. The officials for tonight's game, number 27, Mr. Dick Pavetta.
Here, they completed that playoff sweep over the 76ers. Sixers have vivid memories of that celebrated sweep by the Knicks, with the Knicks, as you recall, using a broom for effect. We talked about that with Sixers backup man Ron Anderson and asked his reaction.
Well, I guess I can't help but remember it, you know, because we lost 3 games straight. You know, what they did was, in my opinion, low class, but, you know, I'm not too sure what we would have done if we had swept them.
Well, John, looking back at that moment, I would think that if the Knicks had to do it all over again, they would have not done it in the same manner. It was an immature move at the time.
Yes, that was well documented, and I agree with you, Marv. And I'm sure that the Knicks will not do it again, although they'd like to have the opportunity, yes, that's for sure.
And the officials, Dick Pavetta, Louis Grillo, Jim Clark, Mike Juminski getting set to go on the opening tip against Patrick Ewing. And the Knicks control. It was back on the 5th of December in New York that the Knicks beat the Sixers 110-103. And as we mentioned, Charles Barkley sat out because of the flu. Gerald Wilkins getting right to it. He had the 0 for 13 Sunday against the Clippers, missed his first 3 shots last night against the Bullets, then hit 3 in a row, and then did not get much playing time. In fact, he and Charles Oakley expressed displeasure with the distribution of the minutes. Percy Hawkins brings it at 2.
Yes, Gerald broke the string last night, now 3 for 20 coming in tonight in his last couple of games, and he's anxious to show that he's got the touch, and he certainly did show it. He was shaken up by that 21 minutes of playing time, whereas Oakley had his 38 minutes, Marv. I don't really think he had anything to complain about other than the fact that his ego was bruised by not starting in the second half.
Here's Jackson. Mark Jackson. Had a career high to 34 points. A terrific game here last November, hitting 14 out of 19. That was right in the midst of all the contract controversy. Juminski rebounded by Wilkins.
Well, the interesting matchup, of course, will be Rick Mahorn on Charles Oakley. They really got into it in the latter stages of the last game in New York. Johnny Newman adding dimension to the Knick offense. Long-range bomb by John.
A 3-pointer for Newman, who had hit only 3 of his last 19 from downtown. Hawkins tried to answer. Knicks with a 7-2 lead. We are just underway at the Spectrum.
Johnny Newman matched against Barkley. Prior to Mahorn getting here, that job might have fallen on Charles Oakley, a big, strong man. That's a great break for Charles Barkley in that he now draws the opposing team's small forward night in and night out because of Juminski and, of course, Mahorn.
Knicks get the new 24. Ewing getting the double team. And here's Jackson on the penetration. Nice move. The Knicks 9 and the Sixers 2.
That hesitation, ever so slight, is what got him through. What timing by Mark.
Hawkins and Dawkins in the backcourt. And here is Barkley.
Oh. Boy, the man earned it.
Wilkins racing down and hitting a spectacular move by Gerald Wilkins, who has hit his first 2 from the floor. The Knicks 11 and the Sixers 4. Pretty move by Percy Hawkins doing it off the dribble. 11-6, the Knicks with the lead.
Hawkins now in his second year, clearly a more confident player.
Yes, he had a very difficult playoff series against the Knicks. It had his ups and downs during the season. Mark Jackson on fire as we open up, as he connects on a three-pointer. And Mark had been 0 for his last 18 from three-point range. The Knicks off to the quick start. They lead 14-6. They've hit 6 of their first 7 from the field. Mahorn cuts it to 14-8.
Mahorn was tremendous against the Knicks in New York. In fact, had his season high thus far of 27 points. He showed offensive moves and jumping ability, Marv, that I never thought the guy had. Didn't see it in Detroit. He's really reacted well to this important role he has with the Sixers, where he's so important, more so in the offense than he ever was in Detroit.
Yes, that was his best all-around game. 27 points, 15 rebounds. Dawkins rebounded by Newman. 3.5 gone by in this first quarter. Wilkins with the step. And Jaminski had it batted away, but knocked out by Oakley.
I think Gerald was looking for Ewing to roll in on the pick and roll, but Patrick didn't. He stayed outside, so Gerald then had to take the shot.
Jaminski has the good outside touch. And Mahorn right there. So Rick Mahorn with his second bucket.
That'll be one of his easiest baskets of the evening, as no one was in front of him.
The Knicks by 4, 14-10. The Knicks coming off consecutive overtime victories, escaping with the W against the Clippers on Sunday, and then last night beating the Washington Bullets. Here is Ewing, and he thought he was fouled. No calls.
I can't believe Patrick meant to shoot it behind the backboard.
It's a one-on-one setup with Barkley working on Newman. Now Mahorn.
Nicely done. The double team, which turned out to be Jackson after the first double team, wasn't enough to deter Mahorn.
Mahorn has hit his first 3 from the floor, and the Sixers with 6 unanswered points. Now trail 14-12.
Jackson posting up Dawkins.
Jackson with the step.
Beautifully done. Didn't give the Sixers a chance to double team and get down there.
Jackson with 9 points. The Knicks lead 16-12.
Let's see what the Sixers offense is. Get it to Barkley.
And Barkley with the good look got it to Mahorn. 16-14. Knicks by 2. Ewing. Yes. So Patrick Ewing with his first field goal. Knicks by 4. 6.5 to go in this opening quarter. Jaminski. And here is Barkley getting position.
Well, you can see what his body means to Johnny Newman. It means trouble. He's getting the position he wanted.
Ewing off the double spin, and the offensive foul is called. Ewing picks up his first. A timeout is called. 6:13 left in the first quarter.
Talking to the Knicks' new assistant coach, Bob Salmi, who came from the Sixers last year, about the skills of Charles Barkley. On that last play, you can see when he's double teamed how he keeps his head up. He doesn't lose track of the other players on his team, so he can find the open man. A lot of players, when they're double team, will put their head down and try and deal with how to get out of it. He keeps his head up.
Off the miss by Dawkins, Jackson looked to put a move on Hawkins, then got it to Ewing. And a traveling violation is called. Ewing tried to pull up and then called for steps. So the Sixers take over. 5:50 to go in this first quarter. And the Knicks by 2, 18-16. Marv Albert with John Andres from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Mahorn posting Oakley and gets it out. Kaminsky, he's been off. Wilkins on the rebound. Kaminsky missing his first 4 field goal attempts. Oakley on a good recovery. The Knicks by 4, 2016. Mahorn could not handle the lead pass.
Another area where the Sixers excel is their ability to advance the ball quickly. The Knicks are ready for that. They must get back in transition defense a little quicker than usual.
Jackson being played by Dawkins. Now Ewing comes up high. 8 on the shot clock. Jackson red hot. Mark Jackson is 5 for 5, 11 points. I mentioned earlier the 14 for 19 that he had on this court back in November for a career high 34 points. Hawkins off the crossover dribble. Kaminsky on a fade. Oh, air ball. 0 for 5 for Kaminsky, hearing it from the crowd. Newman missed the stuff and went flying. Sixers have a 3-on-2. Hawkins rebounded by Barkley. And the foul.
Well, we've seen Patrick Ewing do it. We see Johnny Newman do it a lot. They can't resist the desire to stuff the ball. And many times when it doesn't work, you miss a great opportunity. At the other end, the Knicks pay the price now as this guy has started to flex his muscles and hurt the Knicks badly.
Oakley on the foul. Barkley with a 3-point play. Charles comes in averaging 23.5 per ball game. Knicks by 3, 22-19. 4:20 left in this first quarter. Ewing off the double pump. And rebounded by Kaminsky.
Here what the offense is once again. Wait for the double team, move it around to the other side. Here they have a fine shooter developing in Hersey Hawkins, but he misses that one.
Wilkins wide open. Wilkins racing by.
Jackson with a bad decision, trying to steal the ball, and there was no one behind him to help.
Johnny Dawkins, one of the more explosive players in the league, cuts it to a 1-point lead. And Ewing with the step and fouled by Mahorn. Rick very quick to extend the hand.
Great lead pass in to Patrick Ewing, who goes up for the stuff. Yes, it was a very kind move by Mahorn. But let's see if it lasts for 48 minutes. He really didn't go into his nasty act, Marv, in the Garden until the 4th quarter. And Charles Oakley picked up on that rather quickly.
Here's Ron Anderson replacing Rick Mahorn. A solid performance for Mahorn. Hit 4 for 4, 8 points, and gets a hand from the crowd. Ron Anderson, man who has been excellent coming off the bench the last 2 years. What a steal in that deal with the Indiana Pacers for rookie Everett Stevens. Now pressure by the Knicks. They lead by 3, 24-21.
Anderson had an uncharacteristic game in the first meeting because of Barkley being out. He drew a start, his first one of the season, and went 1 for 13. And he's a great shooter, but he was haunted that night in the Garden.
Now Barkley met by Trent Tucker, who just checked in. Tucker replacing Wilkins. There's Dawkins again, penetrating and then going to the left hand.
Well, that makes a coach wonder, and I'm sure Stu Jackson is wondering right now, where are the defenders? That wasn't a fast break. He just dribbled through everybody.
Timeout being called now by Paul Silas, who is subbing for Stu Jackson, who is back home with his new twin girls. In Indiana. The major trade pulled off by the Sixers last August. Johnny Dawkins, Jay Vincent acquired for Maurice Cheeks, Chris Velp, and David Wingate. Jay Vincent has since departed. Just did not do it. Had weight problems here once again. That's been the story with Jay Vincent. But the Lakers giving him a shot. He rejoins his college teammate Magic Johnson with the LA Lakers.
As far as Cheeks going to San Antonio and Johnny Dawkins here, I think if both teams had it to do over, Marv, they would do it again. So it's worked well for both teams. As San Antonio has been tremendous with Cheeks leading the way, and this young man certainly showing the Knicks his action tonight. Johnny Dawkins is a player many felt would never be a point guard, and the Sixers have decided otherwise, and he's rewarding them.
Here's Ewing. Philadelphia on a 9-2 run for the first lead of the night for the Sixers, and it will be Nick Ball, although Charles Barkley does not agree.
Used to be force out, resulted in you recovering the ball. Not anymore in the NBA, and that's what Barkley was hoping for. He felt he was forced out, but he walked out of bounds, dramatizing his point, and walked into a turnover.
It's always a good schoolyard call. Force out. Jackson again.
Oh, he was under pressure.
Mark is 6 for 6. He has 13 points. Knicks by 1. 26-25. 2 minutes to go, first quarter. Kenny Walker has come on for the first time. They double up on Barkley. Jackson trying to bother him, and does. Beautiful play by Mark Jackson to bat it away, and it was last touched by Barkley. Jackson backing Dawkins and hits again. A spectacular first quarter for Mark Jackson. He now has 15 points, and the Knicks lead by 3.
Of the team's total of 28.
Minute and a half left in this first quarter. Hawkins backing it up, being guarded by Kenny Walker.
Jaminski had perfect position and got passed up.
Kenny Walker last night did a terrific defensive job, and Bernard King. Tucker missing from three-point range. Walker closed him down, did not allow King to get the ball the final 7-8 minutes, although Bernard finished with 42, but not a factor in the latter stage of the game. Barkley not looking to challenge Ewing. Here's Dawkins. Barkley for Hawkins. Nice move.
Charles Oakley letting it happen in front of him. The Knicks very slow inside defensively. They're not quickly moving and reacting to cutters.
Dawkins and Hawkins penetrating at will here in the first quarter. Again, the double team, and Ewing finds Oakley. Nice look by Ewing. 30-27. Knicks with the lead. Oakley with a second field goal. We're down to a half minute remaining in this first quarter. Hawkins able to recover and is fouled by Tucker, who did not like the call, and he's hit with a technical. That's unusual to see Trent Tucker hit with a technical foul. You know, I can't see a bad word coming from Trent's mouth. Similar to you, John, and myself. Right. But Trent must have said something caustic that really just hit the official the wrong way.
Yes, Trent is a gentleman.
Not that a gentleman might not occasionally have an obscenity uttered, right, like yourself, John. We've seen it time to time.
Or yourself.
Yes. Knicks by 2, 30-28. We're down to 19 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Sixers coming off a victory here at home against Indiana Monday night. Beat the Pacers in a wild game, 120-116. Philadelphia shot very well, 55%. Down to 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Nice move by Dawkins to beat Jackson. Walker on the save, and here's Jackson from mid-court. And that was his first miss of the quarter. Mark hit his first 7, 15 points in all. The Knicks lead the Sixers by 2 after 1.
Remember, it makes good sense to drink responsibly. Know when to say when. A reminder from Anheuser-Busch. And what a quarter for number 13 on the Knicks. Mark Jackson spinning, wheeling, using his size on Johnny Dawkins for 2 of his team leading 15 first quarter points, 1/2 of the Knicks team total at the end of one.
And despite the sensational play by Mark Jackson, no helicopter takeoff, so I guess the spectrum just doesn't lend itself. The runway here is not in the same formation as Madison Square Garden, but Mark Jackson with a tremendous first quarter. Knicks make changes, though. Eddie Wilkins has come on. Rod Strickland in the ball game as we get underway here in the second. Ron Anderson converting. Knicks at one point led by as many as 8. Philadelphia's only lead, 25-24. Right now we're tied at 30. Here is Tucker on a quick release. And a push out, loose ball foul on Oakley.
Loose ball foul, Eddie Wilkins.
No, they say Eddie Wilkins. And that is his first. Kurt Nymphius on the floor for the first time. And he is up front along with Barkley and Anderson. Here's Derek Smith, who just checked in. He has not been getting much playing time.
Sixers do not have a reliable bench, and Charles Barkley does it again. Defensive move by him, successfully reaching in, converting, and doing what you just saw.
9 points for Barkley. Dawkins slapping it away. Strickland on the recovery. 10 on the shot clock. Wilkins from deep. Eddie Wilkins with the outside touch. And the game is tied at 32, a minute in, second quarter.
Eddie's been a big plus in the last couple of games.
They double up on Barkley, who gives it up. Anderson has hit 2 of 3, and Philadelphia by 2, 34-32.
To Barkley's credit, he's got no problem giving the ball up. In fact, he's number 2 on this team in assists.
Wilkins battling with Nymphius. They will jump it up. The Knicks had a good shooting first quarter, 13 for 25, 52%. Sixers 13 for 27. Corey Gaines now replacing Johnny Dawkins. Dawkins leads with 6. Corey Gaines in a very difficult situation. This is the final day of his 10-day contract. How'd you like to work under those? Actually, you have, John. Come to think of it.
That is pressure. As Bill Parcells said before the game the other day against the Rams, this is pressure. And this is pressure for Corey Gaines, although the impact will not be felt quite as much.
Corey Gaines, a one-time net in his second year from Loyola Marymount. Smith not able to hit. And it will be 76er ball. So the Sixers have Gaines as the point guard and Smith in the backcourt. Anderson, Nymphius, and Barkley up front. Derek Smith finding the room along the baseline, whipping right by Oakley. And the Sixers continue to succeed going to the basket.
Coaches say time and again to every player, don't give up the baseline. Well, on that play, it was easily gotten.
4-point 76er lead. Wilkins putting the move on Nymphius.
Boy, Eddie can hurt you with that move as he turns and faces the defender and rolls right in. He's resisting on that play, certainly the desire to dribble the ball, as he often does, and it really helps him when he does not dribble that ball.
Quick release pop by Anderson, and he has the touch. He's hit 3 out of 4. Last year, Ron Anderson averaged 16 points a game and then stepped it up in the playoffs against the Knicks. Averaged 21, shot just under 60%. Nymphius broke it up. Here comes Derek Smith. Lost his balance. Gaines changed his mind. Does not look good for Corey, John. And on the other side of it, Oakley able to convert.
Yes, in his position, he must be perfect. And maybe that won't be good enough.
Sixers by 2, 38-36.
Although the team really has cooled on Scott Brooks. Apparently he's tensed up this year, which is odd because he got rewarded last year after a fine season with a 2-year deal.
Oh, nice move by Barkley. Yes, Scott Brooks developed as a surprise into the 3rd guard last year, and he had several good games against the Knicks coming off the bench. 76ers lead 40-36. 4 minutes gone by in the second quarter. And an offensive foul is called. And again, it's on Eddie Wilkins. There's Rick Mahorn checking back in. Wilkins committing his second. Patrick Ewing now checking back in. And Charles Oakley will sit down. Oakley 3 for 5, 6 points. And Barkley will get a rest. He leaves with 11. He's been perfect, 5 for 5 from the field and 1 for 1 from the line.
Kenny Walker now matched on Nymphius, so he won't face that Ron Anderson jump shot.
And Anderson has hit his last 4. The Sixers with their biggest lead of the night, a margin of 6.
On that switch, Kenny was facing Anderson, but he has yet to present himself tightly enough on the good shooting forward.
Tucker from 3-point range hit 2 of them last night against the Bullets, although he did not shoot well. Trent overall had a 5 for 18 night. Now Gaines with the left-hand dribble, rejected but fouled. Dick Pavetta with the call. It's on Ewing. For Ewing, his second. Corey Gaines will go to the line. Corey Gaines was averaging 17 a game for Omaha in the CBA, originally drafted by Seattle on the 3rd round. And last year played 32 games with the Nets. Gaines making his first appearance at the foul line this season.
Comes from that high-scoring university out west in Los Angeles, Loyola Marymount, under Paul Westhead, Philadelphia guy.
Here's Gerald Wilkins, who just checked in, firing one up. Knicks are down by 7. Gaines's pass was kicked by Strickland. There's Mike Cheminsky replacing Kurt Nymphius. Not much happening here for the Knicks in the second quarter. Down by 7, 7 minutes to go. Mahorn off the fake. Rick Mahorn has hit 5 of 5 from the field, and the Knicks are trailing by 9.
Kenny Walker does not resemble the player he was last night defensively against Bernard King. He's not hounding as he did. And Ron Anderson has gotten free, as did Mahorn.
Another good defensive play by the Sixers. Derek Smith able to take advantage. And the Knicks will talk it over. Timeout being called by Paul Silas. 6.5 to go in this first half, and the crowd reacts to the 76er effort. Quarter, Charles Barkley off the steal, put it away. That's the way it's gone for the Knicks in the second quarter. Philadelphia with 9 unanswered points. Charles Barkley, according to Harvey Pollack's statistics in the 76er Media Guide and Statistical Yearbook, last season was the most devastating dunker. He was number 1. Can you imagine compiling and following dunks around the league? Barkley followed by Olajuwon, Drexler, Thorpe, and he even followed those who did not dunk. Alex English and Lafayette Lever, for example, had only 1 dunk all season. Same for Jeff Malone and John Stockton.
I can't believe McHale with only 2. Yes, it's an unusual press guide that Harvey puts together every year. He leads with it on the cover this year. Complete recap of every dunk.
Harvey, with the Philadelphia 76er organization, has been noted for his unusual statistics. Kenny Walker called on the foul. Also in that list of top dunkers, Michael Jordan, number 9. That might surprise people. And Cheminsky missed the stuff. He's 0 for 6. And the crowd reacts. Kenny Walker not able to hit. Sixers 9 for 11 thus far shooting in this second quarter, while the Knicks have had their difficulties. They're 3 for 10. They're down by 11. 5:40 remaining in the second quarter. Here's Derek Smith.
I think the Knicks, Marv, from Paul Silas's viewpoint right now, are in big trouble. They are not greeting the Sixers with the energy level needed, and the Sixers are playing like a rested team that they are. They had a day off. The Knicks didn't.
11 straight points for Philly. Newman able to end that streak. So Harvey Pollack will make note of that one. pressure by the Knicks. There's Gaines flipping it down to Anderson. This time a running one-hander by Anderson.
You'll note, though, that after one slight move, the Sixer offensive players are getting a clean, uncontested shot.
And Strickland with a bad shot. Here comes Gaines. Anderson on fire. He's 6 for 7. He's hit his last 6. And the Sixers with a 15-point lead.
Sixers advancing the ball extremely well tonight.
Newman from three-point range. Air ball. It has been a 15-2 run by Philadelphia. Here comes Mark Jackson back in. He had the hot hand in the first quarter. Mark hit his first 7 shots, 15 points in the first quarter.
Knicks are playing into the hands of the Sixers also by not using Ewing as much as they should be. Jaminski's got to be depressed about his own offense, and the Knicks should be exploiting that, not to mention Ewing's usual devastating scoring ability. That's an unusual thing. Of course, Anderson is the bench for this team, and he's come through.
Anderson with 12 points off the bench. Nice move by Newman to go to the reverse, and that will be a delay of game. Jackson batting it away. 53-40. 76ers by 13. Paul Silas running the club tonight, along with Ernie Grunfeld and Jeff Van Gundy. Earlier today, around noontime, Janet Jackson, the wife of head coach Stu Jackson, gave birth to twin girls. Stu had made the trip here and then drove back home to be with his expanded family. Eric Smith able to penetrate, and the Sixers are doing it at will, uncontested down the lane, and he was also fouled. It's on Ewing. That's 3 on Ewing.
Well, Derek Smith has been competing for playing time on this team. He's been relatively quiet this season, playing 14 minutes a game, and he's added punch. And Jim Lynam, the Sixers coach, is getting good results no matter who he turns to. The Knicks have not found an answer yet to deal with this.
Eddie Wilkins back, replacing Patrick Ewing. Ewing with the 3 fouls, 1 for 5 from the field, not able to get into it. Sixers lead it by 15. 3.5 remaining in this first half.
Funny thing is, Marv, Ewing really didn't get the ball much.
Wilkins with a nice move and then tipped home. A traveling violation on Dawkins.
Knicks had success last night against the Bullets with their pressing defense. In fact, they began the second half, Trent Tucker getting the turnover in the hoop, and it was very important. They have not used it, as fans of the Knicks know, that much this year, but they introduced it last night. Now signs of it again. Eddie Lee Wilkins with a nice move in low.
And it was Eddie Wilkins who got credit for that tip on the Gerald Wilkins drive that rimmed the basket. So the Sixers now lead by 11. Hawkins followed by Oakley, and Oakley bats it away, and Bavetta says Philadelphia ball. Now timeout is called. 3:07 remaining in the second quarter. The 76ers lead the Knicks 55-44.
Action and the stories in the world of sports, and all of it right up to the minute. The place to turn is MSG Sports Desk, every night throughout the night on MSG Network.
Well, this difficult Knicks stretch continues. They'll face the Indiana Pacers Friday night, 7:30 here on the MSG Network. The Knicks and Indiana. And Charles Barkley misses for the first time. He hit his first 5 shots. Sixers 13 for 17 from the field here in the second quarter, while the Knicks have hit only 7 out of 16. Sixers lead by 11 on the deflection. Jaminski comes up with the turnover. The Knicks have turned it over 7 times. Anderson again, wide open shot.
Knicks not identifying the offensive threats quickly enough. They're very soft in their defensive transition.
Ron Anderson has hit his last 7. He missed his first shot. He's hit 7 in a row. Eddie Wilkins, with his 5th bucket, has 10 points. And Philadelphia leads 57-46. 2:20 left in the second quarter. And off the steal, a loose ball foul on the 76ers.
Personal foul is on Johnny Dawkins, and it's his first personal foul.
Eddie Lee Wilkins a moment ago getting a nice pass from Gerald Wilkins. Gerald sensing the double team, and he did the right thing.
Foul called on Dawkins. Newman being guarded by Anderson. Here's Gerald Wilkins beating Hersey Hawkins, and tipped home. Looked to be it was Charles Oakley. So the Knicks cut it down to 9.
Am I hearing your echo, Marv?
You know, Jim Carvelis, working with Walt Clyde Frazier on radio, may be doing a simulcast before the evening is over. Jim, with that voice that slashes right through, I'm kind of enjoying his play-by-play.
It is distracting.
No, not at all.
Well, you want to listen to it, you know. That's what I mean.
Minute 45 to go in this first half. Dawkins. And the Sixers have suddenly gone cold. Wilkins took a chance but was able to dribble through. Drawing the double team, finds Newman. Oh, they're just whipping around, firing the ball, and the call is deflected out by the 76ers. Knicks very fortunate. Here's Rick Mahorn for Ron Anderson, who had the hot hand. 7 for 8, 14 points. Jackson, air ball. Barkley set up by the penetrating Dawkins.
Also, the middle was cleared out by Mahorn, who kept everybody away from the middle. He just shoved Charles Barkley, wow, over to guard Johnny Newman.
Wilkins. And the foul against the 76ers. Gerald Wilkins blocked by Mahorn. That's 2 on Mahorn.
Good look back by Eddie Wilkins. And Gerald going airborne. Critics of Eddie Wilkins are always happy when they see him get the ball down low and pass it back outside.
Well, Gerald Wilkins on the line for the first time. Big foul shooting picked up last night. In particular, Patrick Ewing hitting down the stretch.
Eddie Wilkins, as a matter of fact, in 415 minutes of the season, still doesn't have an assist.
Luseg
getting closer, though.
Just under 1 minute left in this first half. The Knicks down by 9. Knicks in the midst of a 10-2 run to get back into it. Hawkins shooting. Hersey Hawkins in his second year from Bradley with his 4th field goal. He has 9 points. Sixers lead 61-50.
You know, the coaching staff of the Sixers like his shooting percentage. This year it's 2 percentage points better than it was in his rookie season.
Jackson posting and rejected. Here's a 3-on-2. Barkley. 15 points for Charles Barkley. And Philadelphia has a 13-point lead. Knicks will hold for a final shot. Down to 15 seconds. Down to 10. And Jackson able to hit. Put home by Oakley. Final seconds. Newman able to break it up. And Wilkins too late. So at the half, Philadelphia 76ers, hearing it from the Spectrum crowd, they lead the New York Knicks 63-52. We'll be back with our halftime, including the MSG Sports Desk, to bring us up to date from around the world of sports right after these messages. Back at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, Marv Albert, John Andres. 76ers lead the Knicks by the score of 63-52. Philadelphia with a couple of strong runs in the second quarter to jump out to the lead. As we check out the Jeep Eagle scoring totals, the Knicks led by Mark Jackson, all 15 in the first quarter. In fact, he hit his first 7 from the field, including a three-pointer. His first miss was a heave right at the end of the first quarter, a desperation shot. Eddie Wilkins coming on for the foul-plagued Patrick Ewing hit 5 out of 5. He has 10 points. Charles Oakley with 10 and Johnny Newman with 7. The Philadelphia 76ers getting the good effort from the combination of Charles Barkley and Rick Mahorn. Barkley with 15. Ron Anderson off the bench to hit 7 out of 8. He's hit his last 7. Mahorn is 5 for 5 for 10 points. Excellent shooting by the 76ers. Only Mike Jaminski has struggled, 0 for 6 to this point. And the Philadelphia 76ers with the lead on the New York Knicks, 63-52. Now we're set for Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk, so let's go to Bob.
All right, thank you, Marv, and good evening, everybody. Coming off that horrendous performance last night against the Nets, the Celtics are trying to cool off the defending world champion Pistons tonight. Detroit has won 6 straight, and what do you know, Boston doing it so far. They lead the Pistons at halftime at the Garden, 51-48. Yes, Larry Bird's still out with that injured ankle, but DJ picking up the slack here in the opening half. Beautiful reverse layup under the hoop. Big star for Detroit last night in that victory over Chicago. Joe Dumars doing it offensively here the way he did it to the Bulls, not to mention the defensive effort on Michael Jordan. Now, speaking of Chicago, who now trails first place Detroit in that NBA Central, they're losing at Indiana 44-40. Pacers have dropped 5 straight games. The Atlanta Hawks looking for their 4th win in a row against the Clippers tonight. And the Bucks, who have also won 3 straight, losing at Cleveland in the second quarter. Despite mounting speculation, not to mention the Hornets' 7-23 mark, head coach Dick Harter is in no danger of being fired, at least that according to team owner George Shinn today. Now in the Big East tonight, Syracuse continuing to struggle. They have not played well lately, not playing particularly well at home against St. John's either. In the first half of this one, watch as Boo Harvey in traffic dishes off to Billy Singleton. Nice pump fake, gets the shot and the call to put the Red Men up by 4. Then All-American Derek Coleman caused some nightmares for Louis and company, leading the Orange back. 6'9" forward, taking it all the way to the hoop on the break. Syracuse led 35-34 at halftime. They lost the other night in the Carrier Dome to Villanova, and as expected, Doug Graber was named head football coach at Rutgers today. Graber's 45 years old. He's been defensive coordinator for Ray Perkins down at Tampa Bay for the last 3 years. We've got more sports coming up right on the other side of these messages. First place New Jersey Devils are leading Pittsburgh 2-1 at the end of one. Doug Brown and Patrick Sundstrom have the New Jersey goals. Mario Lemieux has kept his scoring streak alive with an assist on the Pittsburgh goal. As for the Rangers, tied with the Blackhawks, 1-1, end of one period here at the Garden. James Patrick has the New York goal, and that game is on our MSG1 service right now. The Islanders at Toronto, no score in the second period. Hartford plays at Vancouver later tonight. And Evander Holyfield's handlers are saying that they have signed a deal for that long-awaited fight with Mike Tyson. The bout will be held June 18th. The site still to be determined. Tyson will be guaranteed $22 million for his one evening's work. Holyfield guaranteed at least $11 million. We'll return to Marv and John at the Spectrum after, again, this time out.
To the Spectrum in Philadelphia with John Andres, Marv Albert, and the 76ers lead the Knicks 63-52. They have led by as many as 17. A look at the highlights, which are brought to you by Minolta Cameras and the Maxim Series I, intelligent, ingenious in a world by itself. And often when Charles Barkley goes up against the Knicks, he has been in a world by himself.
Yes, he had an excellent first half. Johnny Dawkins going to the middle of the court so he can make decisions. That was an easy one for Charles Barkley, the leading scorer on this team, the 9th leading scorer in the NBA right now.
And again off the bench, Ron Anderson supplied explosive 7 for 8, and he's hit his last 7.
Yes, Johnny Newman ran at him, and Anderson just flipped right around him. Anderson is such a valuable player. As I said before, he is the bench of this team. And Mark Jackson the bright spot for the Knicks in the first half. What a magnificent offensive explosion he brought to the Knicks and the Sixers in the first half.
He had 15 points, all 15 in the first quarter. Both teams are back on the floor, warming up, getting ready for the second half. We'll be back in a moment. Back at the Spectrum, the Knicks and the Sixers getting ready for the third quarter. Philadelphia by 11. And the Sixers with a hot shooting first half, 61%, led by Ron Anderson, the 6-year man from Fresno State, who's hit 7 out of 8. Patrick Ewing with a very quiet first half, 1 for 5 off the bench. Again, Anderson is the key factor with 14 out of the 23 bench points. Derek Smith contributed 8. And look at the rebounding totals. Patrick Ewing, invisible.
Well,
Rare off night.
If the big man doesn't get the ball, he is not going to rebound. That's an old rule. In the forward position, favoring, of course, superstar Charles Barkley. Newman hanging in as best he can. And the power forward also is a different picture, as Charles Oakley and Mahorn are at a standoff. But the Knicks have to get Ewing into the offense. Last night in the first half, he had 7 shots at the basket. Things turned in the second half as he got the ball up to over 20 shots, of course, in the game for Patrick, and the Knicks won the game. So they've got to get him involved.
Kaminsky is now 0 for 7. Ewing did bounce back late. He went through that stretch where he missed 8 consecutive shots and then came back strong, particularly at the foul line in clutch moments. Ewing is playing with 3 fouls. 3-second violation now called on Ewing.
The Knicks allowed 62 points at the half of last night's game to the Bullets. Tonight it's 63. That is not a winning number. So they've got to dig in tenaciously, and they've got to get tough defensively and start taking something away from these fellas.
Hawkins rejected by Oakley. And it will be Sixer ball with 10 on the shot clock. The Knicks come in at 23-9. They have won 12 of their last 14. 76ers have won 17 and lost 15. They come off a victory over Indiana here on Monday. Rick Mahorn continues his perfection. He is 6 for 6 for 12 points.
Actually, at this date, the Sixers are precisely where they were this time last year, 17 and 15.
And then they picked it up. They finished 10 over 500 at 46 and 36, second in the Atlantic, 6 games behind the Knicks, and then it was swept in the playoffs by the Knicks. Last year during the regular season, the Sixers won 4 out of 6. In fact, they snapped that Knicks 26-game home court winning streak. And they were the only team to beat the Knicks at the Garden last season twice. Nice pass, Kaminsky is stopped by Ewing.
But Charles Barkley is posing there for pictures, staring at Newman.
Newman went for the steal. Barkley on a triple team is tied up.
Well, he should be embarrassed, too, because he held the ball so darn long while his team stood and watched him. Nice rejection moments ago on Kaminsky.
Barkley upset. He felt he was fouled by Newman. No one jumping against Barkley. No one stepped in. What's going on here? Uncertainty as to who is, well, it's Ewing against Barkley. Newman thought it might have been him. Now we're set, and the Knicks control. Newman met by Mahorn, puts the move on, yes, and it counts. Beautiful move by Johnny Newman, faking left and then going right to draw the foul.
Well, the Knicks in search of some inspiration. This might help on this beautiful move by Johnny Newman. And if Patrick Ewing can get untracked, get his hands on the ball, that can lead the Knicks right back in.
Personal foul was on Rick Mahorn.
Mahorn was called for that foul. That's 3 on Mahorn. And by virtue of the 3-point play, the Knicks are down by 10. Light pressure shown by the Knicks. Dawkins and Hawkins in the backcourt. Kaminsky, Mahorn, and Barkley up front. Mahorn and Jackson on the rebound. First miss tonight for Rick Mahorn. Here's Jackson. Stopped by Jaminski. Able to recover. And then with a beautiful feed to Oakley.
Well, Oakley kept in motion, and Jackson picked him up somehow. That was some pickup by Jackson. Credit Oakley, too, for staying in motion.
The Knicks have cut it down to 8. Mahorn for Barkley, who is clobbered by Wilkins. For Gerald, his first, and that'll send Barkley to the line.
Nice pass by this man. Looked for sure that he was going up for the shot. He saw his teammate in front of him. With the presence now of Rick Mahorn on the Sixers, it means a whole different approach as Mike Jaminski now becomes more of a Bill Laimbeer type center. They have plenty of defensive presence underneath with Mahorn. And of course, Jaminski can do what he does best, although he has not done it well tonight, and that is shoot from the perimeter. But it's really had a great impact on the approach of this team. They have a complete front line right now, which is why on given nights they will beat any team in the NBA when they're playing at their best.
16 points for Barkley. And the 76ers lead 66-57. It'll be Philadelphia ball. 3 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Philadelphia here at the Spectrum has won 11 of 13. They lost the home opener against Milwaukee. The other loss to Dallas in mid-December. Dawkins. Johnny Dawkins in his 4th season from Duke University with his 4th field goal. He has 8, and Philadelphia leads by 11. Ewing. And Wilkins able to tightrope his way along the baseline. Ewing, yes, it counts. He took the push from Jaminski and was able to hit on the continuation.
Well, the Knicks learned something once again, what can happen when they play with the big man.
Here's Ron Anderson replacing Charles Barkley, so Barkley will get a rest, leaves with 16. Patrick Ewing is 2 for 2 from the line. That was only his 2nd field goal.
Tremendous time for the Knicks with Barkley taking a rest right now as they appear to be establishing some offensive momentum.
Hawkins played very tight by Jackson. Hawkins thought he would lose Jackson around the screen. Apparently Charles Barkley was shaken up, and he is headed back to the locker room. 8 on the 24. With Anderson throwing in. Down to 5. Down to 3. Anderson. And Oakley on the rebound. Jackson going all the way.
What a shot. A hook shot over Jaminski. Wow.
Put it high off glass to cut it down to 7. Sixers call for time.
Reminder from your friends at Anheuser-Busch. Remember, drinking responsibly makes good sense. Please know when to say when. And Charles Barkley, the leader of this team, clobbered by Gerald Wilkins on a play a moment ago, and that has sent Charles to the locker room. Charles now back on the floor at the end of the Sixers bench after probably getting some quick ice treatment.
Jaminski. Make it 0 for 9 for Mike Jaminski. The Knicks have cut that Sixer lead down to 7. They've trailed by as many as 17. Gerald Wilkins, that's 2-point range. It is 68-63. The Knicks now within 5. Gerald has 8 points. 7:40 remaining in the third quarter. Now Barkley getting set to make his return.
Yes, Jim Lynam has to be nervous. Now the question is, can the Knicks answer their good offensive display with some intensity defensively?
Sixers only 2 for 10 from the field here in the third quarter. Mahorn fouled. He'll go to the line. Held by Oakley. That is 2 for Oakley. Rick Mahorn to the line for the first time. Here's Barkley for Jaminski.
12 points, 5 rebounds.
Mike Cheminsky did not have a good shooting game against the Knicks in that earlier meeting at the Garden. Was 8 for 22, but 0 for 9 tonight.
Sixers, prior to their game against Indiana on Monday night, a win, by the way, despite Indiana shooting 61%. Amazing you can win with a team doing that. Came off a West Coast and a Texas trip. 2 out of 7 were wins. They had a very rough time and are more than happy to be home here.
Jackson, Mark Jackson, continues to excel offensively. He now has 19 points. He's hit on 9 of 13, 5-point, 76er lead. Dawkins stopped by Oakley. Good pass from Barkley, and they'll jump it up. Barkley sighting Dawkins down low, and he was met by Oakley.
Much quicker reaction by the Knicks big men here in the second half inside the foul line, evidenced by Oakley reacting to Dawkins getting free. He was on him right away.
Barkley off the spin is fouled, held by Newman.
Personal foul is on Johnny Newman. That is his first.
That's the first for Newman. Barkley again held where that shoulder was pulled. So Charles Barkley to the line. He's 2 for 3 from the line, a 76% free throw shooter.
This is where he hurts teams. It's so common to see the box score of the Sixers with Charles at the line in double figures. But tonight against Indiana, 12 out of 14 from the field. Last game against Houston, 11 out of 12. San Antonio, 10 out of 14.
So the Sixers now lead by 7. Knicks get it down in a hurry. Mahorn back. Here's Ewing. And contact made. Barkley thought he was fouled. Thought it should have been an offensive foul. Nice move by Ewing. He now has 8. And the Knicks are down by 5.
He didn't force the stuff and made a nice shot out of it.
Traveling violation.
9 over 10. Last Knicks hoop from Patrick Ewing, getting the ball out high, looking like he wanted to sail in for the stuff, but glided in and used the backboard beautifully.
Some good signs for the Knicks here in the third quarter after the poor first half, particularly defensively, where there was little intensity, and the Sixers were able to penetrate at will. Oakley on the tip, and it is down to 3, 72-69.
Good look from Ewing.
Barkley, and look out, Newman pushing Hawkins, and we could get some follow-up on that.
That was a dangerous move by Johnny Newman. Fortunately, there was plenty of room for Hawkins to go after he got pushed. Plenty of room after he jumped over the first row of people. Boy, credit Hawkins for not reacting poorly as many players would. He kept his cool.
Percy Hawkins, in his second year out of Bradley as a senior, led the nation in scoring, averaging 36 a game. He is a superb free throw shooter, among the leaders, 90% from the line. But you recall it in the playoffs, the Knicks took advantage of his lack of size and speed. He shot 3 for 24 in that playoff series. It would make for a happy summer for Hersey, who had a decent rookie season, made the all-rookie team, but there are some who termed his regular season as disappointing.
Yes, he had star written all over him, but the best thing for him is he came to a team that needed him, and he got a lot of playing time and experience as a rookie.
Gerald Wilkins. So the Knicks now down by 3, 74-71. 10 points for Wilkins. Anderson, Mahorn, and Barkley up front. Illegal defense called. That for the first time, so the Sixers get the new 24. 5:41 left in this third quarter. Marv Albert with John Andres from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Mahorn wide open. And Ewing on the rebound. That is the first rebound of the night for Patrick Ewing. Good play by Anderson to break up the pass. It's a 4-on-3. Anderson. And here comes Jackson, chased by Dawkins. Sixers get back. Wilkins in traffic. Wilkins lost it. 3-on-1. Ewing is back. Anderson rejected by Ewing. And you can hear the reaction. A contingent of Knicks fans here at the Spectrum greeting that block shot.
Yes, they're all over the place. Ewing, with impeccable timing, sent that one back.
That is his third block of the game. Anderson. Mahorn on the follow. 76ers lead 76-71. 16 points for Rick Mahorn.
You say the 76ers have 76?
Yes, what a coincidence, John. Newman called for a palm. So it will be 76er ball.
Ewing, by the way, is currently number 2 in the NBA in block shots, behind Hakeem Olajuwon. Patrick averaging 3.5 a game.
Dawkins lost it. And a reach-in is called against the Sixers. Dawkins picks up his second. And for the Sixers, it is their third team foul. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Trent Tucker now being sent in by Paul Silas for Gerald Wilkins. It has not been a lovely night for the opposing centers. Kaminsky 0 for 9. We, of course, have seen Patrick Ewing come on late on many an occasion this season, but had a 1 for 5 first half. Just pulled out his first rebound a moment ago. Newman and Hawkins getting to it. Barkley is stopped by Jackson.
Well, he wants to take him inside and overpower him.
Dawkins with the angle jump.
Pitcher shooting has cooled off tremendously from outside.
Well, Barkley getting it back to Hawkins. Here's Anderson. Good play. Put it off the leg of Newman.
You mentioned Ewing, Marv, getting that first rebound. Boy, you look at the stats, it's interesting. He's number 7 in the NBA in rebounding. Oakley, number 2. Only team to have 2 among the top 10.
Hawkins with the step and then fouled by Newman. Newman going for the block, got a piece of it, and he's called for his third.
Sixers going inside. And you can see on the replay the contact so many times when you're watching a game, depending on where you're sitting, and say, boy, that looked like a clean block. But in the replay, you can see the contact.
So Hawkins, who is about as close to automatic as you can get at the foul line, will have 2 more. He is 3 for 3 from the line. Kenny Walker getting set to come on for Johnny Newman.
Sixers are an excellent foul shooting team, averaging 80% this year, and they're one of only 4 teams that shoot at 80% or better. Much to my surprise, the Indiana Pacers are leading the league in that category at 82.
I was aware of that, John.
You lie.
And you mentioned the rebound leaders. Oakley, number 2, right behind Hakeem Olajuwon. Patrick Ewing among the leaders. Patrick has had some monster games that have certainly helped the per game average against the Warriors and the other night against the Clippers, 20 plus.
And the 6'5" Charles Barkley, number 5 in rebounding.
78-71. The Sixers lead the Knicks. They have led virtually all the way. They've led by as many as 17. Ewing hit on the reach-in by Mahorn. And that is the 4th on the surprised Rick Mahorn.
I must say, you know, Marv, you've got to give credit where credit's due. Mahorn has been a normal person tonight.
Been quiet thus far. Mike Jaminski getting set to come on to replace him. Mahorn leaves with 16 and the 4 fouls.
I refer to his antics sometimes where the elbows will be flashed a little too high or the moves will be what could be perceived as dirty. I haven't seen that tonight. But the game is young.
Sixers by 5, 78-73. Pressure by the Knicks. Dawkins for Barkley, lost it. Jackson off the steal, and he's fouled. Loose ball foul on Charles Barkley. That's his first personal.
You know, that shows the kind of effort Barkley puts in to a ball game. I mean, he goes any place the ball is, and he is tough.
Now timeout taken by the Knicks. 2:52 remaining in the 3rd. On the Wiz NBA scoreboard, the Celtics leading Detroit in the 3rd quarter. Boston coming off the loss to the Nets, game that saw them score 6 points in the 2nd quarter. Atlanta by 7 at halftime. We'll get back to the scores in a moment. Mark Jackson at the foul line with 2:52 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Marv, referring to the Sixers going cold, 3 out of 16 in this quarter.
Indiana over Chicago at the half. Denver, Utah later on. And Orlando at the Lakers. Dallas at Golden State in later starts.
The Knicks 9 out of 16.
And Barkley protecting on the rebound. Knicks have cut that Sixer lead down to 4. Bad pass. Here comes Jackson. Knicks have the numbers. He feeds Oakley, and he blew the layup. Charles upset with himself. Knicks now have Walker up front with Oakley and Ewing. Jackson and Tucker in the backcourt. Here is Hawkins. Percy Hawkins with 15. The 76ers lead 80-74. Jackson played by Dawkins. Tucker being handled by Hawkins. Ewing. And rebounded by Barkley. That's 8 rebounds for Charles. Dawkins on the pull-up. Just under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Ewing not able to handle the pass, but it was knocked away by Anderson. So it will be Nick Ball.
He thanks Oakley, though. He appreciated the look.
Well, up in Syracuse, the Orangemen bouncing back, beating St. John's. Nice move by the one-time Redmond. Mark Jackson, who cuts it down to 4, 80-76. Syracuse with that horrible shooting performance against Villanova, losing at home to the Wildcats. Dawkins with the layup. And here comes Jackson. Sixers getting back. Jackson wisely pulled up. Ewing off the fake. And rebounded by Anderson.
Kaminsky made it tough for Patrick.
Anderson from deep. Ron Anderson with his first bucket in some time. He now has 16. At one point, he'd hit 7 in a row, and then he missed 4 straight.
Boy, the Sixers doing fine without their scoring center participating tonight.
Walker, yes. Kenny Walker, who hit a big jump shot from deep last night against the Bullets, hitting one from outside. 82-78. 76ers by 4. We're down to 40 seconds to go in the 3rd. Anderson trying to lose Walker off the pick, and then gets the pick on the other side. Rebounded by Ewing.
This offense is built for Anderson. Many times he had double picks set down low, both sides of the lane. And you can see why, the way he shoots that ball.
And the Knicks setting up for a final shot. Coming up on 10 seconds left in the quarter. Tucker from 3. Yes. It is down to 1. 82-81. 5 seconds to go. Anderson from 3. Rebounded by Tucker. So the Knicks turning it in the third. Down by as many as 17 in the first half. They are now down by only 1. The 76ers 82 and the Knicks 81. A reminder, this Saturday, that's the 13th of January, when the Knicks go up against David Robinson and the San Antonio Spurs, all fans attending will receive a Patrick Ewing poster courtesy of The Wiz. For tickets, call Ticketmaster 212-307-7171. There it is, Patrick in action. And that should be a most interesting confrontation. Ewing and Robinson.
When they shot that photo, they had to clear out Lower Manhattan.
Yes.
Huh?
Well, third quarter, excellent shooting by the New York Knicks. Philadelphia, as you saw, only 5 for 21. And the Knicks have just taken a 1-point lead, 83-82.
Jackson showing it all kinds of ways tonight. He has exploded. No way the Sixers were ready for this offensive performance by Mark.
24 points for Jackson. First lead the Knicks have had since a 30-28 advantage. Derek Smith, who just checked in off the mark, able to rebound and hit. And Philadelphia has a 1-point lead. Derek Smith with 10 points.
Knicks really alive, though, defensively.
Completely turning it in that department from what we saw in the first half. Here's Walker. Oh, Eddie Wilkins took a bump from Ron Anderson. And last touched by the Sixers. Now Mark Jackson will get a rest. An outstanding game for Mark Jackson. Rod Strickland checks in. A minute gone by in the fourth quarter. Marv Albert, John Andres from the Spectrum. Eddie Wilkins, who has played well, has come on replacing Patrick Ewing. Kaminsky broke up the pass. Here comes Dawkins, held by Tucker.
Rick Mahorn has been getting quite a long rest with his 4 fouls, but I have to believe that Jim Lynam will insert him before too long.
Corey Gaines checks in, played briefly in the first half, replacing Johnny Dawkins, who leads with 8 points. Knicks outscored the Sixers 29-19 in the third quarter. This is Gaines from deep. Corey Gaines with a 3-pointer. And we mentioned earlier he is playing for his NBA life. He is in the final day of a 10-day contract, and Gaines connects on a 3-point shot to give the Sixers a 4-point lead. Good play by Anderson. Tucker able to retrieve. 3 on the shot clock. Down to 2. Here's Trent Tucker. Kept alive by Eddie Wilkins. And Oakley is rammed by Derek Smith. Oakley goes back at him. Charles did not like the extent of that foul committed by Derek Smith.
Yes, Charles got rocked, and he got up stronger than he went down. Take another look at it. Tucker had to get that shot up. Good move by Eddie Lee, keeping it alive.
To Charles Oakley.
Another look at it from a different angle. Oakley getting the ball, going up for the shot.
And a technical foul has been called on Oakley.
I don't think Derek Smith meant to hurt Oakley. He was behind him, and he just tried to stop him. And Oakley's body is so big that Derek Smith had to use a little bit more body to bother Oakley.
Anderson hitting the tee. And now Oakley will shoot his free throws. The Knicks now down by 5 with 2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Paul Silas, who you just saw, coaching the club along with Ernie Grunfeld and Jeff Van Gundy. Our congratulations and best wishes to Stu and Janet Jackson earlier today. Janet giving birth to twin girls, 4 pounds 8 ounces, 6 pounds 10 ounces. Stu had made the trip here to Philadelphia, then drove back home to be with his family, and will rejoin the club for the Knicks at Indiana on Friday night.
Well, Stu Jackson has certainly good family representation here at the Spectrum tonight, as we saw his dad at halftime, Harold, here checking out the action.
76ers by 3, 88-85. Oakley has 16 points, 13 rebounds. Nice move by Derek Smith. 90-85, Philadelphia. Pressure from Gaines, who commits the foul. Patrick Ewing and Gerald Wilkins getting set to report back. So Oakley sits down. Eddie Wilkins departs. Wilkins with 8 points. So the Knicks are going with a small lineup. Strickland, Tucker, Wilkins, 3 guards, along with Walker and Ewing. Here's Gerald Wilkins, cutting it down at 3. Gerald has 14 points. 90-87 the score. 3 minutes gone by in the fourth. Horn, who just checked back in, now being watched by Ewing.
Tough to stay with a man like Gerald, who moves as quickly as he does.
It's a 3-on-2. Strickland fouled by Anderson. Went for the ball, looking for a tie-up.
Good Knicks pressure out there with the small lineup, causing that turnover. And Strickland flying to the hoop, drawing the foul.
Shooting 2.
Derek Smith for the last hoop for the Sixers, running up court. That was directed at Charles Oakley. Derek joining this team last February. He has been around and has overcome a severe knee injury, as having maybe his best game this year as a Sixer.
Strickland hitting on both foul shots. Gerald Wilkins thought he deflected it off Gaines. And that's a foul on Strickland, sending Barkley to the floor.
Knicks going with the pressure, and Strickland rocks the former round mound of rebounds.
Yes. It's trimmed down a bit. Second team foul for the Knicks. It's a 1-point 76er lead, setting up a good finish. And one stretch, the Sixers led by as many as 17. Barkley for a travel, won't count. Traveling violation.
Charles consuming a lot of energy, chasing official Dick Pavetta, telling him he was wrong.
.8:45 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Knicks succeeding with this small lineup. They're down by 1. Wilkins with a bad pass. 3-on-1. Smith.
When you turn your back to the defense, you're inviting trouble. And that's what Gerald did, dribbling in.
76ers lead 92-89. Derek Smith with 14. Mahorn battling with Ewing. Mahorn playing with 4. Strickland throwing it back, and he is fouled.
How can Mahorn argue that? Marv, here we go. Ewing trying to get position. And Mahorn drawing his 5th foul now and goes to the bench, appearing to be happy for some reason.
Now that is, as you know, a very deceptive grin or grimace. Tucker with a 3-point attempt. Yes. And he's hit his last 2 from 3-point range. The game is tied at 92. And Jim Lynam is called for time. We'll be right back. Madison Square Garden home video, along with Jeep and Eagle, presents New York's game, History of the Knicks. A 60-minute video that covers more than 40 years of New York Knicks basketball. To order, the number to call, 1-800-858-3838. Here's Jaminski with an air ball, but he'll call it an assist as Barkley is able to convert, and the Sixers now lead at 94-92.
Barkley is so quick. for a man over 240 pounds.
Ewing with the intended pass for Walker. Smith. So the 76ers, following the timeout, have taken a 4-point lead.
Boy, Kenny Walker was rocked. I mean, rocked into the first row last time down. No foul.
Sixer bench, led by Anderson and Smith, have really hurt the Knicks tonight. Nice pass, Strickland finding Walker, and he's fouled by Barkley.
He sure is. Barkley rocked Kenny Walker, but kept his hands on him so he wouldn't fall down.
Second foul on Barkley. Dick Pavetta discussing matters with Jim Lynam, Fred Mad Dog Carter.
Good look off by Rod Strickland, picking out Kenny Walker, who was maimed and then protected by Barkley.
Walker on the line for the first time as a 72% free throw shooter. So the 76ers lead by 3, 96-93. Knicks with pressure. Anderson wide open. He is 9 for 16, 19 points. 98-93, 76ers lead by 5. Knicks stay with the smaller lineup. Ewing able to get inside. Ewing with 12 points. Patrick Ewing coming in, averaging 28.5, has been held in check thus far tonight. Here's Smith. Derek Smith has been unconscious. 9 for 12, 18 points. Strickland lost it off his foot. Here comes Barkley. It's a 3-on-2. Feeding Anderson, and he's fouled. Look out. Walker took a sneaker in the head from Barkley.
Sixers so quick to react. Barkley getting that ball, pushing it up. Good bounce pass. And Kenny Walker did it from there. But yes, Mark, Derek Smith has had a sensational game. His season high is 19. He's just about there. You mentioned Ron Anderson before, coming to Philadelphia from Indiana. You know what that cost? In October 2 years ago, it cost Everett Stevens for Ron Anderson. One of the great moves in any NBA franchise. Boy, has he delivered.
Everett Stevens not in the league. A high draft pick for the 76ers. 102-95, Philadelphia by 7. And the Knicks take a timeout. 6:10 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Sixers have put together a good run now. Good ball movement. Corey Gaines playing an important role here in this stretch. And Derek Smith now in his 8th season, on his 5th team, having a big game.
Art Jackson from 2-point range to cut it down to 102-98. 5:40 to go in this fourth quarter. This game was tied at 92. Sixers going on a 10-3 run the last couple of minutes. Here's Smith. And on the turnover, it's Jackson. He has Wilkins. Look out. That's an offensive foul.
Walk reacted strongly and then realized he could get a technical. Controlled himself.
And Derek Smith shaken up as he took the hit.
Mark committing himself to go inside and clobbered Derek Smith, so much so that he's still on the floor. That hurt.
Now timeout being taken by the 76ers. 5:19 remaining, fourth quarter. It'll be Sixer ball when we resume. They lead it by 4. Rick Smith, the man who has come back from a series of severe knee injuries, took that hit as he gave up his body as Jackson was called for the offensive foul, and he's been helped back to the 76er locker room. Correction on the score. That long-range jumper by Mark Jackson that we said was a 2-pointer was in fact a 2-pointer, but on the scoreboard they recorded it as a 3-pointer. The score is Sixers 102, Knicks 97, not 98. Incidentally, Jackson with 26 points has hit a new season high. He had scored 25 against the Clippers back in mid-November. So the Knicks are down by 5 and again get it back on a turnover with just under 5 minutes to go in this fourth quarter.
Good hands by Ewing denying that drive attempt by Ron Anderson.
But Patrick Ewing is now 4 for 12, has not been able to get going. And here is Barkley, gave it up. Jaminski with his first field goal and gets the big roar from the crowd. He missed his first 10 shots. He is 1 for 11. Sixers lead by 7. Newman, very impressive.
Jaminski did not have the ability to hang with Newman. John just kept going and beat everybody.
13 points for Newman. The Knicks down by 5. Barkley played by Oakley. Now Jackson over to help. And that leaves Hawkins loose. Percy Hawkins with a 3-pointer, his first of the game. 18 for Hawkins. 8-point Sixer lead.
Oakley all alone being guarded by the shorter player. Knicks can't find him.
Jackson, and rebounded by Barkley with 3.5 remaining in this fourth quarter.
Sixers do not lose here often. They are 11-2 at home.
Holding foul. It's on Wilkins. His second. And 14 fouls committed by the Knicks. The Knicks in the midst of that 6-game and 8-night stretch. Gets tougher and tougher. Friday night at Indiana, Saturday home for San Antonio, Monday home for the Chicago Bulls.
And Wednesday down to San Antonio.
Hawkins not able to hit. Knicks down by as many as 17 in the first half, able to come back. They had the lead briefly, but the Sixers taking control down the stretch. Holding foul indicated. It is on Barkley. 3 on Barkley. And Philadelphia over the foul limit. Oakley to the line. He is 2 for 2 from the line. Time is running down on the Knicks. 2:57 remaining. Well, we have an opportunity. We'd like to wish the very best to Knick trainer Mike Saunders, who did undergo surgery earlier today. Mike involved in a one-car automobile accident last Friday and is resting comfortably, we're told, at Lenox Hill Hospital. Tim Walsh, assistant trainer, handling the chores, and a speedy recovery to Mike Saunders. Sixers by 6, 107-101. Dawkins and Hawkins, sounds like a law firm, in the backcourt with Barkley, Jaminski, and Anderson up front.
Well, I'll be very surprised as Oakley pulls one out of the air. Wow.
And saves it behind the back. Jackson is strangled by Anderson, who gives the foul, and that'll put Mark Jackson on the line for 2.
Well, Charles Oakley pulled himself up, but a cameraman needed help to get himself together. But I'll be very surprised tomorrow or the next day if we don't read that Corey Gaines has been given another 10-day contract. He had a big second half here for the Sixers and got a lot of important playing time.
Well, the question is who else is out there. I know the Sixers have been, as you take a look at the save by Oakley, you recall last night, made that terrific save in the overtime against the Bullets, and in the process really wiped out Kiki Vandeweghe.
He sent Kiki to the locker room early.
Almost an air ball by Jackson, a 5.6er lead. So started to say, you wonder who else is out there, with Corey Gaines trying to hang on. Lewis Lloyd, who's come back from a drug problem, has been getting a look by the Sixers, and the question is whether they think that he can do it. Lack of effort was the word on Lewis Lloyd. As far as the Houston Rockets were concerned, they were not happy with his work ethic.
Meanwhile, the Knicks are on the verge of coming right back in a game that looked like it was out of their hands. They can hit one now and bring it to within 3 with 2 minutes plus to go.
Well, Mahorn is in, replacing Anderson, who's eating his uniform as he heads back to the bench. Coming up on 2 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Newman freeing himself up. And the loose ball foul is called. It's on the Knicks. Called on Oakley. That puts the Knicks over the limit. 3 on Oakley. A minute 58 remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Knicks trail by 5. Rick Mahorn will shoot a pair.
Well, the key factor in this game, a plus for the Sixers, has been their ability in keeping Ewing quiet. Patrick has not had the shot attempts at the basket that he normally has, and that's so important to teams that have to deal with him.
18 for Mahorn. Sixers 109, the Knicks 102. Ewing, yes. 14 points for Ewing, 109-104. Knicks down by 5.
This is where the Sixers need maturity from their new point guard, Johnny Dawkins, the man with the ball, and Charles Barkley's creating all kinds of trouble for Newman. I mean, he's punishing him.
Newman is trying to front him. Actually did a nice job. Ewing on the rebound. What a pass. And then Oakley had it knocked away. It will be Nick Ball.
What a chance by Mark Jackson. Jackson seeing his teammate have the step.
Whoa. It almost worked. Minute 15 remaining, fourth quarter. Ewing off the fake, and he's fouled by Jaminski. So minute 11 remaining in the fourth quarter. Ewing to the foul line with the Knicks trailing by 5. Ewing is 4 for 5 from the line.
Well, the Knicks are not going away from the Sixers standpoint. Feeling keeps exhibiting that the Sixers have this game won. But the Knicks are just hanging right at the door.
Last night, Ewing hit the free throws down the stretch. Missed an important one here. Cuts it down to a 4-point lead. Knicks with pressure. Ewing got a piece of it. Dawkins hounded by Newman. Jaminski played by Oakley. Down to 10 on the shot clock. Now Ewing is watching Dawkins. Forced by Barkley, an air ball played by Mahorn. And let's see what the call is here. 24-second violation. Very tough defense by the Knicks. And a timeout call with 46 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Knicks down by 4 with the ball. The Ranger hockey pointed out, John, the son of one-time Ranger Dave Creighton. I know a favorite of yours.
Glad you picked up on that. Well, the Knicks have locked this man up, believe it or not. 1 out of 3 from the field in the second half for Charles Barkley. And Oakley put all the right amount of pressure on him and did not commit the foul, and Ewing was there to deny Mahorn. The Knicks with the ball now.
46 seconds. remaining, fourth quarter. Knicks down by 4. Jackson. Yes, and it counts. So he will go to the line with an opportunity to cut it down to 1 with 37 seconds left.
Well, Mark Jackson, taking a major blow, makes the shot. And has he been the heart of this offense tonight? Mark Jackson has been sensational offensively. It's all been showing.
Rick Mahorn fouling out. Outstanding game for Mahorn. 20 points, 6 rebounds, hits 7 of 9 from the field. Jackson 2 for 4 from the foul line. Cuts it down to 1. 109-108. And the 76ers call for time. So the Sixers now with 2 and a 20 remaining. Same for the Knicks.
Take a look at that last move. Gerald Wilkins giving it up unselfishly. Mark going in. I mean, he got rocked. How did he make that shot? Boy, did he get clobbered. But his determination is so fierce when he gets inside that foul line. He just is unstoppable tonight. He had that 15-point first quarter, then went quiet in the second quarter, but picked right up again in the second half.
Did not play much in the second quarter. Got a long rest.
New York 2-1, Philadelphia.
30 points, season high for Mark Jackson, who hit his first 7 shots from the field. In fact, his first miss was a desperation heave at the end of the quarter. And Mark overall 13 for 17 from the floor and 3 out of 5 from the line. He's hit 1 for 2 from a 3-point range, but the Knicks able to come right back, down by as many as 17. They had a 1-point lead briefly in this fourth quarter. Then the Sixers settled down. Game was tied at 92. Philadelphia went on a run, and the Knicks have managed to come back with 37 4/10 seconds left. They're down by 1. Check of the Wiz scoreboard. Celtics looking to bounce back from last night, leading Detroit. Atlanta over the LA Clippers in the fourth. Milwaukee in front of Cleveland in the fourth quarter.
Well, the Knicks, after allowing 63 points in the first half, have done what they've had to do. A totally different unit out there in the second half when it comes to defense. 46 allowed in the second. What a turnaround.
Sixers with a 1-point lead, looking to use the clock. The shot clock down to 10. And Barkley held by Oakley. So Barkley will go to the line. He is 4 for 5 from the line.
The hardest part in dealing with this man is keeping the ball out of his hands. Once he gets the ball, you can choke him and it doesn't matter. He'll get you somehow.
Charles, good free throw shooter, 76% from the line. He has not shot much in the second half. Only 1 for 3 in the second half. He did hurt his shoulder. That may be affecting him.
He just gave Mark Jackson a little verbal message there. He walked off the line and said something to Mark, then went back.
Sixers by 3.
Look at him. Look at him.
They're toying with each
Yes,
other.
they are.
Knicks take a timeout with 22 4/10 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter. Sixers 111, the Knicks 108.
Now
it'll be West Virginia and Temple tomorrow night at 8. Atlantic 10 college basketball action right here on the MSG Network. And here at the Spectrum, Paul Silas, Ernie Grunfeld, Jeff Van Gundy, in the absence of Knicks head coach Stu Jackson, plotting it out as they look to set up a 3-pointer with 22 4/10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Sixers by 3, 111-108. The Knicks coming off 2 consecutive overtime games, looking to tie this one.
Or will they go for the quick 2 and then try and get another 2 with defensive pressure?
Well, Jackson from 3, yes! And the game is tied at 111. Well, they went for the quick 3 instead.
Yeah, right.
15-4 tenth seconds remaining. It's been a magnificent night for Mark Jackson. 33 points, and that is his second three-point field goal.
And the Sixers were pleased to see him out there. He will take a shot wide open. Defying the odds. I mean, Mark came into this game 1 for 18 from three-point range. 0 for 15 tonight, and it's all exploded. And what a time. What a pressure player.
So the 76ers taking the timeout, and they are down to a 20. The Knicks have a full timeout and a 20. And Mark Jackson was left wide open as the play developed for that three-point bomb.
Interesting, Marv. Another statement by a player on the Knicks not letting a team roll over. This game had the look of a Sixer win right from the second quarter. I mean, the Knicks have every reason to be tired after this sequence they began several days ago, in which they will continue to live for the next remaining days in January. And Mark Jackson's not letting it happen, just as Patrick Ewing has not let it happen in the last couple of games. This is Jackson's game. He is carrying this team. Wow.
The stat line on Mark Jackson: 14 for 18 from the field, including 2 of 3 from downtown. Jim Lynam now working it out for the 76ers.
Look at he and Barkley meet. They're loving it. That's a great thing to see those two adversaries going at each other in a friendly way.
All right, the Sixers now looking to pull it out. 10 seconds remaining. Game tied, 111.
Look at Oakley. Looks like a lineman.
It's a one-on-one. Here is Barkley. Knicks call a quick timeout. Sixers by 2 with 2 7/10 seconds remaining. A dramatic field goal by Charles Barkley to answer Mark Jackson.
And isn't it interesting that Barkley, who finished his NBA season last year in virtually the same spot by missing this shot, makes it this time. And boy, you know he waited a long time to be in that position. And look how he expresses himself. Is he happy? And you know, Marv, Jim Lynam made an interesting adjustment. He made sure that Barkley would have his hands on the ball by giving it to him in backcourt, just to make sure that he would not be double teamed. He made him bring it up over half court, and then he dealt with it. Shows you the all-around skills, and you could see how Oakley was ready for him. He wasn't going to let him go around him. So instead, Barkley responded by hurting him from outside. What an all-around player.
24 points for Charles Barkley. And the 76ers lead by 2, 113-111. And now it will be Nick Ball with just a shade under 3 seconds remaining in regulation.
Well, I think Paul Silas has been designing the right thing so far, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, the strategy has really worked as Jackson has done some amazing things. Now the question is it the long pass to Ewing, or does Jackson go and do it again?
Well, let's flash back to game number 3 as the Knicks swept the 76ers. Here's how it ended with Barkley from, as you point out, John, almost the same spot with a chance to tie the game. The rebound hauled down by Patrick Ewing, and Barkley went to the floor in frustration. All right, here's Jackson, three-point attempt, tipped away, and that's it. This time, it's the 76ers who defeat the Knicks in the final seconds. I don't think that was the first option, but Jackson looked inside and could not find Ewing, and with less than 3 seconds remaining, figured he had to put it up.
And they didn't let him loose either this time. They respected Jackson. He was under a lot of pressure.
Well, let's take another look at that. Ewing was up high, was being bumped by Jaminski.
Play designed for Jackson to get the ball, but unlike last time when he was all alone, this time he was under pressure. So much so it almost looked like a pass to Oakley.
It's tough to tell what the motive was there, whether Mark Jackson was actually trying to win it with a three-pointer, or whether there was the thought that he would go down low. We will not know until we talk to people after the game, but you would think that the Knicks were not looking for that type of shot in that situation. So the 76ers beat the Knicks 113-111. The Knicks dropped to 23-10. Back to recap in a moment. Good finish here at the Spectrum. 76ers defeat the Knicks 113-111. So Philadelphia now 18-15. They've won 12 of 14 here at home, while the Knicks drop 1 under 500 on the road. They're 8 up and 9 down. And a check of the Jeep Eagle leading scorers for the New York Knicks. The high point man, Mark Jackson, with 33. Terrific night for Mark. He hit 14 of 18 from the field overall. Charles Oakley had 18 points along with 14 rebounds. Patrick Ewing with a rare subpar performance. 15 points, only 5 for 12 from the field. Only 4 rebounds for Ewing. Gerald Wilkins had 14. Johnny Newman with a total of 12. And the 76ers, led by Charles Barkley with 24 and also 11 rebounds. Ron Anderson off the bench for 21. Solid game for Rick Mahorn, who fouled out. He had 20 points. The game winner supplied by Charles Barkley after Mark Jackson had tied it with a 3-point field goal, and it was Barkley in a one-on-one against Oakley.
Yes, the man has all the answers on this play. You can see the defense. Charles Oakley not about to let him get by. So on the little spin, this time Charles Barkley hits it.
Sixers have evened up the season series at 1-1 against the New York Knicks. And our Evian player of the game is Charles Barkley, the Evian National Spring Water player of the game, Charles Barkley, who finished 9 for 12 for 24 points in all. Sixers 113 and the Knicks 111.